Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and then trust we are having a great day. All right, let me know at the comment section if you can actually hear me. If you can hear me, please let me know at the comment section. Let me know. Good evening, ladies. And peradventure, we have maybe one or two guys that are jumping on this call just to come and grab some knowledge. Let me also hear at the comment section. Okay, great. Thank you. Loud, loud, loud. All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. Of course, dependent on where you are hearing me from. All right. Let me know if we are also ready for tonight's class. If you are ready for this tonight's class, let me know at the comment section. Let's give some vibes at the comment section showing that we are actually ready for today's class. Let me see those energy. Let me see those energy. All right, always ready. I like that. Alade Shakirat. I like that. I'm always ready. Volume. Okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes, yes, yes. Can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me now? Okay, great. Great. That's fine. So I feel my voice, my volume is back now. All right. All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. So good to see you. And then I want to ask, at least just before we continue this section, how has it been so far? And I just like to hear or to see at the comment section how has it been. We have had two different modules already, and then this is another part that we are going to be doing tonight. So I want to know how has it been so far from the first part where we actually talked about Microsoft Excel for data analysis, and now we have also explored SQL, that's the structured query language for data analysis. Oh, Success George said it's difficult. Difficult to what makes it difficult? Let me encourage us by saying that you cannot actually test or you cannot say the true test of your ability in all of this if you have not given yourself to studying over and over around it. I mean, practicing all that you have been taught. So don't just limit it to what you are taught in class and then you assume you have learned it. It doesn't work that way, in all honesty. It doesn't work that way. Are you getting what I'm saying? So that means we really need to how do I put it now? Consistency is involved. You really need to be consistent. Yes, that's the word. In whatever you are doing, just so that you can have the best result for this, you really need to be consistent, so that we have you have the best result and output for this. So I like maybe to see at the comment section, we have had data analysis with Microsoft Excel. So let me see from Microsoft Excel what area or what part you really enjoyed most while you were at the Microsoft Excel class. Yes, I'm trying to check the comment section now to see a few highlights from the data analysis really require patience and consistency. I agree with you. Victoria, I agree with you. So it can't be less true. No, that can be less true, right? So it has really been great. I enjoyed the class. Amazing. It's an eye opener, a good one, but I know I need to practice. Exactly. Exactly. So that is it. Mind blowing. I have learned data validation so much. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much for that. Okay, let me also do a quick check. How many people are joining from outside Nigeria? If you're joining from outside Nigeria, let me just see you at the comment section. Just put your country where you are joining from. Okay, I enjoyed pivot table. I enjoyed Excel. Excel. Why is everybody saying I love Pivot? I love Pivot. I love Excel. So, do we have anybody joining this class section from outside the country? Do we have anybody joining this class? Oh, amazing! UK, Miracle, Gichi, England, Ziba, amazing. Right? I like that. That we have people from these diaspora countries and the live and direct. United Kingdom, patience, amazing. Good. UAE to sing. Okay, Ghana, Odunayo, Bolade, Wumi from Canada, but I'm missing out a lot. Why? Why are you missing out? Of course, you have all the classes there for you to actually rewatch. If time is your constraint, you can of course check them. Oh, how do I call this name now? Beam Show from Egypt. Thank you for joining us. I love that. Okay, Folashade from South Africa. That's amazing. All right, Susanna, since you have registered yourself from Nigeria, I can see that already. That's fantastic. That's amazing. Okay. Now, okay, I can see some from Germany, from South Africa, and all of that. So I like to say we are all welcome once again. Okay, so like I said, one of the things that we like to actually reiterate to us as data analysts is not just about these tools that we are learning, but it's rather how you are able to showcase everything you have learned, say from Microsoft Excel to SQL to what we're about to do tonight, and of course to the Power BI tool that we're going to also be using. So, how best you are able to learn this is actually displayed in how you are able to put yourself outside. All right. So one thing we want to also ensure is that we don't just want people to get this knowledge and then they have nothing to show for it. I get what I'm saying. So we want people to be able to put it out there to say, this is what I have been able to do, right? When you put it out and say, this is what you have been able to do, you have positioned yourself as a job ready individual. And I'm saying this categorically that at the end of this training, the least person who has followed this training through and through will actually be an entry level data analyst, no doubt about that. In fact, of course, from your Microsoft Excel to SQL. So let me also say this. I know people who currently work with just one tool. You are combining about three tools thereabout. People just work with one tool, maybe Microsoft Excel as an analyst. Some persons, what they do is just database management, that's SQL as an analyst, and some persons, what they just do purely visualization with Power BI and some other visualizing tools. So that means you guys have actually done a lot for yourself to really, really, really be on this call. So, and I want us to take this as a very, very good opportunity also, because what we're going to be talking tonight is how to build your portfolio for your data analysis project. How to build your portfolio for your data analysis project. And I hope somebody will be excited to hear that. How many of us are ready to build a portfolio for data analysis as data analysts now? How many of us are ready to build our portfolios? Let me see. Is anybody here ready to build his or portfolio? Do we have people who are ready to build their portfolio? Okay, I am. Right? Good. This is interesting. So good to hear. Just a moment. Okay. All right, ready. The SQL and Excel has been interesting. Now, let's begin like this. I understand that while we started the Excel, we are able to journey from a particular place where we saw how you can actually enter data from data entry to validation. From your data validation, you also move to some functions. And from functions, then I think maybe to your pivot, and then from pivot you did some basic visualization. Now, do you know that while you are working with all of this, you have an end result, and the end result is that you are able to come up with the summary of the data you are working with. I hope that is correct. So you are able to come up with the summary of the data you are working with. Now, what we want to do now is this. We are still going to be leveraging on everything we have done from the first class, which is our Microsoft Excel, to the second class, which is the first module, to the second module, and then we take it up from this night that we are having to build our portfolio, and then we will also use it in our upcoming module that we're going to be studying. Now, let me say the importance of this. The importance of this is such that for people on this learning path, what you can also use to convince us that you have actually been through this class is that you are able to showcase your portfolio. And I mean to say that at the end of this training section, every one of us will be asked to submit our portfolio link. Now, your portfolio link is another metric to say that you are qualified for whatever metrics we are using for qualification for this training. So if you don't, or if before now you have not been taking your what's it called now, your class work seriously, I think and I feel you still have some time to do that. You still have a good time to do that. So what does that mean? So that means you need to put all of what you have learned together, to all of what you have learned before together, and then you position them inside your repositories. You put them inside your portfolio, and then you can now throw those links out to your potential employees now. All right, employers, I mean, sorry. So to people who want to what employ people, or people who need your services, because what we want to do is it's not just about you learning it, but also you also being able to tell people that this is what you are able to do. All right, okay, I can see at the comment section that maybe some person says they already have a GitHub account. If you have a GitHub account, amazing. You don't need to stress yourself. By the time we start the class proper, you'll see what you just need to do. So you might not need to worry yourself about that for now. All right. So just like I said, while we work on Excel, I want to believe we got to a point where we are able to build a dashboard with our Excel. And I believe everybody has been able to keep that dashboard somewhere, either on your PC, in your drive, or somewhere, because we are going to be making reference to those things now in the course of this training. Either now, you're going to be making reference to them. Okay, so because if we we are not showing that, so that means you have not been able to convince people that this is what you have been able to do. Does that make sense? So that means what we want to do is, from the dashboard you built in Microsoft Excel and all the queries you did while you are working with SQL, all of that put together, you want to now put them in your portfolio, and then that link is what you just need to share out. So what does it mean? What it means is that you don't need to even carry around all of your projects. All you just need to do is keep updating your portfolio. Once you keep updating your portfolio, then you start sharing it for people to see that this is what you've got, this is what you can do, and then they start coming along with what you have been able to do. And then you can, of course, land yourself opportunities. All right. So I say this also that I know some of us, we are trying to build or become an entry level analyst. And let me also encourage us by saying that don't think that the portfolio you are building now is too small for you to push out, either on your LinkedIn, on your social media handle, for people to see what you've got. Let people know that this is what you are just starting, is a career path, is a learning path, and then this is what you have been able to do in this less time. All right. So what you are also saying is you are telling the stories, because in the next few years, when you are coming back to see where you started from, it will also be a good time to say that, wow, so I started this in the last maybe 3-4 years ago, and then this is how far I have gone. I saw a story recently, maybe earlier this week, of one of the people that, of course, trained with Incubator Hub. And then I said in the past 4 years, he's been trying counting his blessing, and then he suddenly saw an old picture that he took in one of the boot camps he did while he was at the Incubator Hub, and said he now brought the picture of then and now, compared the progress that he has made. So you can also tell that story, and I'm waiting for quite a number of us who will be willing to do that in a short while. All right, so let's go to setting up a GitHub account for data analysis portfolio building. All right, so let's go to the next slide so that we can quickly rush through the few slides that we have, and then we can now go through the hands-on. Of course, you know, all of our classes have been hands-on. So now let's go to the slide now. So now when you say you want to actually set up a GitHub account, there are two things that I feel you should understand here. What do we use GitHub for? Just like I mentioned earlier, GitHub is actually a tool. Now, it's a tool that every data analyst, not limited to although, use to position or to showcase what they have done. Now, this is a web application. So you don't need to build any application. You don't need to design anything. You don't need to really stress yourself anything. All you just need to do is just to do a little sign up, and then once you sign up, you know that you have done what you should do, right? So like I saw the other time, one or two persons mentioned that they already have a GitHub account. If you have a GitHub account, not to worry yourself. As a matter of fact, you don't need to open any new GitHub. You don't need to do that, because we're going to be leveraging on that which you have already. All I just need you to do is just to pay attention to what we are doing right now, so that you can have understanding of what we really want to achieve with this. So like I said, so one thing that GitHub does is that it helps you to showcase the strength of what you have done. As an analyst, how are you able to convince those employers that you do this, or you can do this, and then you can do that? So all you just need to do is what? You populate your GitHub account repositories with quite a number of projects. So you can do that by project based. You can do that for all. Okay, I'm seeing someone asking that, is GitHub the same thing as Linktree? GitHub is not the same thing as Linktree. Please just pay attention. GitHub is majorly for building portfolio. However, of course, Linktree, part of Linktree, you can use it, but then GitHub is a web tool. Actually, GitHub is a web tool. All right. So just a moment. So now, what is, just like I said, what is GitHub and what does GitHub do? GitHub is actually that cloud-based platform where all you just need to do is to sign up, create an account with it, and then you are able to do or to put or upload whatever you have done in the time past. Now, what are the advantages of this GitHub is that it allows you to also collaborate. Just for instance, now, like in this class, if you have people working on a certain project, there is every tendency that while you are populating those projects, you can, of course, collaborate with each other, because it has that functionality. It can what? You can trigger, you can pull some trigger to see that you are able to work alongside with others, because it enables and allows for what? For collaboration. Now, what are the module objectives? What are those things we try to achieve with this particular training? So we want to see a portfolio showcase. That is, you want to host data analysis project publicly for potential employers or clients to view. So you also want to demonstrate technical skill and problem solving abilities. Excuse me. So what we are trying to say is that your skill, your newly acquired skill, you want to communicate it to people. Excuse me. You want people to know that you can do this, or this is what you have done, either ways. And at the end of the day, after you have done it, you are showing the project outcomes and the insight you are getting from it. I hope you are following me. If you are following me in the comment section, I like to see some comments to see that we are together in this class. Are we together in this class? Let me see. Let me see if we are still together in this class. Why are people who are still in this class? Okay, great. Yeah, that's fine. Yes, thank you, Victoria. Okay, somebody said no. Resources, why are we not together? Is there any problem? Following, great. I like that. So the comment is already rolling in and I find it difficult to pick. Okay, good. So that shows that quite a number of us are still following. So peradventure you are not following, please put yourself together and then let's walk this journey together so that we can rush through this. So All we just need to do today is just to build it. I hopefully think we are able to finish building our portfolio tonight so that from the next week class, we are starting on a new module, and then progressively you are adding to your portfolio your project, both from what you have done before and the ones you will still be doing ongoing or going forward. Permit me. Now, another thing we said about GitHub is that collaboration platform. So it facilitates collaboration with other data analysts or developers. So like I mentioned, GitHub is not just for data analysts. So we have other developers, maybe web developers that also leverage on GitHub because of its version control. That is, it allows to save in real time, and then it enables you to walk around with your abilities or your skills and anywhere you find yourself. All you just need to do is what? Where a mobile connection where you can just put up your link and then pull up your profile and then show people that this is what you've got, and then you are good to go. Now, you can also use it to manage your project, different projects. Now, what do you mean by project management here? Is that, say for instance, now while we started with the Microsoft Excel, we are able to build a dashboard with Microsoft Excel, and the same thing goes with the SQL that we just concluded on. We were also able to do some stuff with it. So you can create a different repository. Now, what is a repository? We'll soon get there. You can create a different repository for your each project, such that you are able to properly manage each project, and then there is no interference. Such that, let's say for instance, now maybe one of the data we work with while we're working while we're at the module Excel was an inventory for a particular sales store. So you are able to separate the inventory of a particular sales store from maybe another organization you are working with. And interesting part of it is that you can also showcase, maybe you have a project you don't want even people to see yet. You can also, there are several functionalities to do that. You can make your project private. You can also make your project public, even for everyone to see. So that means you can make it always engaging. So for every progress you are making as an analyst, you can come back to your portfolio and drop it for people to come see, or for you to show that you are also making progress on your learning path. So of course you can collaborate on project learning and execution with other developers. So you can also effectively utilize Git and GitHub to build robust and impressive portfolios that highlight their skills, experience, and contributions to the field. So those are the things that you can actually do. So those are the things we want to show or we want to leverage on tonight. Don't worry, in a short while we're going to be showing hands-on so that everybody gets to do it themselves. And then next slide, please, so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, so now how do we start? How do we start? So the first thing we need to also know is that you need to have an account, a GitHub account. Now, let me say this again. You need to have a GitHub account. If you have a GitHub account before now, interesting, fantastic. You don't need to stress yourself. You don't need to bother yourself. All we just need to do is to leverage on that account that you have before now. All right, let me ask at the comment section, do we have people who have a GitHub account already? Existing GitHub account? If you have a GitHub account, let me know. At the comment section, let me know. If you have a GitHub account, let me know, please. At the comment section, do I have people who, I think I saw one person the other time. No, I have. Okay, I see someone said he has. Okay, one or two persons, but no. Okay, just created yours. Okay. Okay, wow. So that means quite a number of us do not have that. Not to worry about. In fact, that is why we are here. In fact, if you have yours, please just follow us, because you are a step ahead of others. So interesting. For those of us that have not had it before now, I think it's just a good time for us to create one together. All right, let me have the next slide so that we can move fast. So how do I create a repository? Now, so how do you start? The first thing you need to do is just to go to your normal browser, and then once you get to your normal browser, and then you just type github.com, and then it comes, and then you sign up just like you would do for a normal email. Now, just like the way you will open your normal email, just visit your GitHub account, just visit the site and say www.github.com, and then sign up for free, just like you will create a normal email. Choose your username and your password. Now, to customize your profile, all right, so we might not be able to do that today because of what we need to cover tonight, but then it's an optional part that you can, of course, even learn on your own at a later part or later time. It's not something difficult at all. But then immediately you enter, there are a few things you should be able to do. When we get to the hands-on part, you will see. Next slide, please. Let's quickly run through these few slides so that we can go to the other presentation at once. Now, understanding repositories. So like the other time I mentioned repository, what is a repository? Repository is a container. Now, when we say a container, like a bucket that holds your project. Now, in case you don't understand some of what you are seeing on the screen, it's not just for you to follow me actually. So by the time we start the hands-on, you will see how interesting and easy it looks. Now, a repository is a container that you host your project. So say for instance, you have worked with maybe about 3 or 4 different data since the inception of this training. All of those 4 data can be worked upon as individual projects, and then you create each an individual repositories for them. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, please? I need to see at the comments section. Okay, my video is blocking the slide. All right. So please, technical, please help me. Can we bring the, yes, thank you. I think it's better now. All right. So now I need us to see that the container we are talking about is, okay, great. Okay, let me take it again. Someone said I should recap. Let me take it again. Now, when we say a repository is showing that the number of projects you have worked on. Say, for instance, since we started this training, how many data have we worked on? Like if you have worked with 4, 5. So that means for all the 5 projects you have worked on, you are able to tell a story. Don't forget, one of the things you need to do as a data analyst is that you want to tell a compelling story about the data you are working on, such that even a novice will come around and then we easily understand what you are doing. So that's what it means. So what we want to do is we want to make everybody just feel comfortable around what we are doing. So that is what we want us to see. So repository here is that bucket or container that holds your project files. And like I mentioned, you can have as many repositories in your GitHub. You can have as many. For people who, as a matter of fact, probably you have been doing some other project before now, you can still bring them, even if it's outside, what's it called now, outside data. You can create a repository for other projects, even outside data. So that is, so how do you create a repository? You click the button there, and then you choose new repository, then you give your repository a name and then description. Then you initialize the README file. Now, the README file here, what does README file means? Please pay attention. Now, the README file is more like saying that inside this particular bucket, I want to create a folder where all my documents will be. Are you getting what I'm saying? Thank you. It makes sense now. Great. Amazing. So now you want to create a folder. Now I'm trying to use a normal language so that you'll be able to relate with it. A repository is, let's say, like your window desktop now. And then on your window desktop, you now create a folder. Does it make sense now? So that folder is now particular for each course, right? Such that everything relating to that particular course is being what? Put on that particular folder. However, you can create as many folders as you want. That is your repositories now. You can create as many folders as you want, and then you continue to have them in your portfolio. So that's the way it works, right? So that's the way it works. So next slide, please. So after you have added to your repository, the next thing is you are collaborating with others. Now, how do you collaborate with others? Now, you are pulling a request. You pull a request. I'm just signing to confirm if it still works. Okay, is repository on GitHub? Yes. Just hold on in a while. You will see all of that shortly. Will the slide be made available? Excuse me, please. All right. Now, the issues and of course track. Here, when you are pulling a request, is saying that please just be patient. What do I name my repository with? I have not even cited naming of repository. Okay, I like that. What is the difference between repository and README? Thank you. That's what kind of question I like to see here, not people who are going ahead. Olawumi is it? So now, when you have your repository is where your project is being hosted, right? And inside your repository is that document file where you are imputing your code. Let's say your command line, where you are imputing your code and then you are previewing it. Once you preview it, people can see it. Uluwatobi, I guess you are just joining the class for asking if you can have a practical section. I have mentioned it over and over. I said, I'm just taking us through this and then we'll do the hands-on of everything we are talking about. So please just be patient. Just be patient, right? So now, so that's the difference between what your repository and then your README file. So it's just for you to, please, I need you guys to just follow carefully so that you can gain. Then collaborating with others is by pulling requests, then issues to track bugs in case there are issues, and then like that. So next slide. I think we have maybe 1 or 2 slides more, and then we can go to our hands-on. Right? Next slide. There. Okay. Okay. Now let's. Okay. Fine. I think that's the last part of this slide, right? So now let me pull up my browser now. So you can just help me share my browser now. Just share my screen. Now, okay, so just a moment. Let me just say, for those who do not have a GitHub account, all you just need to do to come here is what? Just put something like join GitHub. And then can you see now? So when you see this, it shows that you can what? You can join. So when you click join GitHub, then it will ask you some basic questions. So this is bringing me to my own default account because I already have an existing account. So that is why it's taking me in directly. So I like for us to, yes, GitHub account opened. Amazing. So if you have created your GitHub account, that will not take you 1 minute, 2 minutes thereabout. But then I need you to pay attention. When you are creating, use your name and then your password you can remember because you will always refer to your GitHub account. I should recap on how to create an account. Just like you have created, how many of us, I want to believe everyone here on this call, we have an email address, functioning one for that matter. So the same way you create your functioning email address is the same way you should create a GitHub account right now. So you don't need to see my screen yet. All I just need you to do is create an account with GitHub. I will show you when you need to see my screen. This is just popping up as my home page. All right? It's just popping up as my home page. So all I need us to do is create your GitHub. If your screen is blurry, you might need to check the what's it called now? The resolution of your view. You might need to check the resolution of your view to have an optimum view. Maybe you need the HD version and then you will get the best quality view. Do you understand? So maybe you need that. You can just Do that for yourself so that it can be easier. All right. So now I want to see at the comment section how many of us have been able to, yes, create your account now, because you're going to be working on your account as we speak. Please, how many of us have been? Let me just know. I'm just going to give us maybe some time to do that, at least maybe 3-5 minutes. It doesn't take a whole day actually. Account created. Thank you. I can see that Esther Alfred. Okay, Victoria. I can see that Ijeoma. I can see that. Can I use your Yahoo or Gmail? Use any of your email account as far as it's your account. Don't use my own. Use your own account. Create it right now. You're asking if you have to create the account right now. Can you change your GitHub account name? Of course you can. All you need to do is just go to your settings and then you can change whatever settings you need to do there. On phone or system. So you are expected to be on the system if you are in data analysis class. So if you are joining by phone, you might have some limitations, which I don't know how you probably will be able to pull through. So I believe it is best you are working on your PC. All right. I have not asked us to click on any start a new project. I haven't said you should do anything. All I just said you should do is create an account and then let's wait for the others. Why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you running? Who is that person? Self? Let me call out the person so that the person can take a chill pill. Is GitHub the same thing as Tableau? No, Victoria Babadara. Tableau is another tool for data visualization. Tableau has nothing to do with GitHub. As a matter of fact, the projects you are able to visualize on Tableau, you also bring them to your GitHub. So they are two different entities. All right. So your laptop is having RAM issues. Wow. So sorry about that. So I want to see at the comment section more people who have been able to create so that we can. I'm actually taking my time to wait for people who are still creating account created. I like that. I am having issues with creating a username. Why are you having issues creating your username? So all right. So let's assume quite a number of us have been able to do that. So let me go to my home page. So if you have been able to do that, you should see something that looks like a home page. And somewhere, so like here you see, let me go to my dashboard. So maybe we should have something like this. And then don't mind all of this. All of this you are seeing here are what I have worked on in a recent time. So now, if you look at this place, if you look at this upper part of your screen here, can you see this plus sign? There's an arrow beside it. It says what? When you click on it, it shows you to do what? New repository, import repository, new Git, all of that. So if you look at this place also, whichever one you have, you see new what? Repository. Now, if you have been working over the years, maybe you have created some repositories, you will see all of your repositories somewhere here, and then you can search for any of your repositories here. But since we are starting a new project, all I just need you to do is what? Create your repository. So all you need to do is what? Create new repository. Now, once you click create new repository, if you notice, there is something I have here, which is what? The owner. That is the username you have what? You have created for yourself. Your username is what you have created for yourself, right? So that username is showing that anytime you are creating a project, it will have an extension of your username, then slash the repository name. That is that project name. I hope you are following me, guys. I have zoomed this, except you want me to zoom inside and inside. I'm sure my screen is fair enough now. Okay. So let me still see if I can still zoom a little more. All right, I hope it's better now. There is nothing under where ladies in tech hub. It's just my picture that is there. Except you want to see my face. Nothing really is under that logo that is hiding somewhere at that top for the person that is saying, how will you describe yourself and how many team members will be working with you? What do we pick? How will you describe yourself? This is what you want to you describe yourself. How do you describe yourself? Do you want me to describe you for you, Winifred? Describe yourself and how many team members will be working with you. Of course, you're not doing it just for now. So you are doing it for a reuse over and over. So just go ahead and fill that up. Of course, nobody was there when you were filling the form for your Google, whatever application, all of that. So just do that. I should go over it again. Okay, let me go back once. Now, going back once. Now, going back once, there are two things you should look out for when you want to create your repository. There are two things you should look out for. The first one is this plus sign here. Did you see this plus sign here? And I think I want to rush now because of our time. We really need to cover a lot. We have not even started. Now, this is what? Create new. Then the arrow beside it, when you click on it, it will tell you what? New repository, right? So when you click on it, you can click on new repository. Alternatively, you see new here. You can also see new repository here. So just click on new repository and then it will bring you to this place. It will tell you your name, which is the owner. It will show you this is your owner and then your repository name. Now, what is your repository name? Can people just give us a suggestion of repository name? I think I just have to take my eyes off some of these questions so that it doesn't distract us, because some of the questions are not even relevant to what we are doing as far as this class is concerned. So let's say Lita class documentation. All right. Now, I have renamed my work as Lita class documentation, right? And when you see Lita class documentation, what it means is that is what my repository name is. And if you look at this down part here, this down part is telling you that this green you can see here is showing to you that your link or the name you have chosen is available. You see, if this is not ticked yes here, if it's not ticked yes, that means that name has been used or is not available. Does that make sense? So you must be sure that that is ticked properly. And then when you now come down here, please pay attention. Please, guys, pay attention. Now, there's a description here that is optional. Can we use my repository name, sir? Of course. If we are working the route of a particular project, so you can do you can model what I'm doing now, such that even after now you can go edit it later, change the name, do whatever you want to do. Okay, I can see quite a number of people using Lita projects, so just give it a name, right? Just give it. Is there any other way to sign up? I don't have an account yet, but icon to create one. I don't understand that. You don't have an account, but no icon to create one. Just go to Google, google.com. From Google, just join GitHub, and then it will show you what to do. And from there, you'll be able to join. If you are not having sound at your end, son, I think you should check your connection. I can see that people have created the account. Now, let's move on. On this description now, I guess you are just joining if you are asking for a recap by now. So now what should be on my description? I said, okay, this is where I want to put my what? My first project while learning data analysis with what? The Incubator org. Right? This is where, so this is just a description of what your documentation is. Oh, you are really enjoying it now. I like that. Nice, amazing. So this is where I documented my first project. Now, after you have done that, take note of these two things you are seeing here. Guys, please take note of these two things you are seeing here. Now, the first one is saying public, while the second one is saying private. Let me explain the two. Now, when you say you want your project to be public, what it means is that at every point in time you are updating while you are working on your project. As many people that have access to your link or to your portfolio or that have access to your profile link can access that project. So if you see that anyone on the internet can see this repository, you choose who can commit. So that means committing is more like a saying comment. You choose who can edit it. That's committing. Some of these things are just technical terms that you just probably need to understand what they really do. And then by the time you understand what they are doing in the normal time, you just feel like, okay, so it's just the normal thing that you are used to. So the other one is private. Now, sometimes you are working on a particular project and then this project is not a project that everybody can have access to. So that means it's a private project. Say for instance, you are working with a project and then is a project that is not something that you can show or you can release to everybody, or you are even saying that let me even first do the project to start the project first. Then later, when I'm done with the project, I can now make it what's it called now? I can now make it open for everyone to see. So that is that is what's it called now? That is when you now make it public. But if it's something you can just and then you want to allow people to collaborate with it. So for any project you are making private, so that means you will not allow for collaboration. Does that make sense? Let me see at the comment section. How many people are still in this class? Let me see at the comment section. How many people? So if you are not able to create your account yet and then you are not able to do that, please just take note. Just take note. When you rewatch these class sections, you can follow it step by step and then you can now, amazing, and then you can now build your first portfolio. Now, so you have understood the public. Great, great. I like that. Making sense. Great. So you can see your public and your private, what's it called now? Corner of the project. Now, the next thing is what? Initialize this repository with add a README file. You remember the other time when I was talking about a README file, I said your README file is more like your document. When you create a folder, then you now started a document in it. What it means is that that is where you can edit and then you can put updates of all your projects in. So for instance, if you are documenting your project now, as an analyst, you must also understand that every project you work on, you must be able to document it. I remember, I think it was in SQL class when Femi was talking about journey of how you are querying your data and all of that. You should be able to put it down in writing to say that when I first get my data, I was able to check for missing values, then query the data to get one or two, and then was able to come out with a particular table, and then all of that. Then you come up with a screenshot of all of that, and then you save them somewhere. So let me also say this: for all the what's it called now, class activity that you have done, maybe from Excel, this is the time you will be needing some of these things. All you just need to do with some of them is just probably a screenshot to do, and then I'll show you how we can do this. And then at the end of the day, maybe we'll see one or two people that will be able to share with us. Of course, let me say this. In fact, one of the assignments that we're going to go with is you're going to be uploading your GitHub link on your LMS, on the LMS. So don't worry, we'll drop an assignment update that we warrant that everyone submit their portfolio link. So your portfolio link must have your progressive project. All right. So please just take note of that. We're going to send an update as regarding that. Okay, right, following, great. Let's continue. Now, the next thing we want to see is the README file. Like I said, the README file is your document. So if you do not tick this README file, you see the way I just ticked it. If you do not tick it, so that means what it means is that you cannot edit any project you are working on. As a matter of fact, you cannot even type. You must, for any project you are working on, add a README file. I repeat, for any project you are working on, don't forget to add your README file, because that is why or where you will be able to what? Make your project relatable and of course editable for use and for work. All right. So now I have ticked mine as well so that we can go down, and then you can go down, 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 leave the other options the way they have because of time, and then come here, create repository. Let me see at the comment section how many of us have been able to create our repositories now. How many of us have been able to create our repositories now? If you have been able to create a repository, you should have something like I am having right now. How many of us have been able to create our repositories? Done. Thank you, Vivian. I have. Thank you, Lara. Yes, Kemi Yusuf. Amazing. Created. Repository created successfully. Okay, great. Right. That's nice. Interesting. Your network is quite slow, so just give it time. Is there any situation you are not required to check the README file? Well, if you are importing a repository, you know that time where you want to add a new repository. If you are importing a repository and then you probably do not need to do anything, probably you just need to comment and all of that. You are not doing any collaborative effort, so you might not need to put that. He's asking for a repository name. Gladys, maybe you just joined this call. If it's asking for a repository name and then you don't know what to put for your repository name. Now, everyone look at this now. Can you see the liter class documentation? Liter class documentation. So that means our repository has been created. Now, look at it. Can you see this README file? Can you see this README file? So this README file was what you enabled while you are creating your repository. So while you are creating your repository, you enable this, and then right in front of it, you can see a pencil icon. Now, this pencil icon tells you that this is where you can start editing your repository. Don't forget, I say it again, that your repository looks like a bucket where your project can sit conveniently, right? So this is the pen, and then here where you have your directory here shows in case you are adding some other files, which I will still show us along the line of the teaching. This is where you will be able to add them. So this README file, which is your directory, main directory, is where you can add. Now, you see, this is where I documented my first project while learning data analysis with the Incubator org, right? So that is your what? Your documentation. Now, let's go inside the README file and then let's see what we want to do with it. Okay, now we are in. Let me try and stay zoom in a little more, just that okay, let me just zoom up for areas where we don't need. We just now look at this. Here now is our environment. You remember I told you about a document area. This is your document area. So under this document area is where you want to type everything you need to type about your project. If you have been generating or gathering notes since the commencement of this class, this is where you need to go and bring out your notes, and then you need to put all of them together in writing. Now, GitHub, while you are documenting in GitHub, it makes use of what we call markup language. Markup language is the hashtag that we use, all the languages that you use in creating codes, right? So, and those are the things we're going to be using in this class as well. Now, for the markup languages, of course, for case sensitivity, there are quite a number of things I think you should pay attention to here. Look at this place here. If you look up here, you see the edit and preview, right? Anytime you want to work on this document, you come to your edit view, and then you are able to type whatever you want to type. If I am not comfortable with what I have typed here, say for instance, I want to delete what I have here, I can delete what I have here, then I preview. Once I preview, can you see that nothing is there again? Can you see that? I preview, and once I preview, I can go back to edit. Let me bring it back again. Then let me preview it again. Did you see that it's back now? However, if you have done that, you have just been populating your document. But for you to save, just like a common or layman language, when you are working on the Microsoft Word document, when you want to save or when you want to have a reference, make reference to your document that you have been working with, what do? You save it, right? How do you save? You save when you come to your what? Commit changes. Did you see these commit changes in green? When you click on commit changes, so that means you say you want to save your last edit. You want to save your last edit. So let's take for instance now, since this is our little data documentation, and then do I really need this? This is where I just did that to show us. So let's take this out. And then what do we want to show in all that we have been doing? So I believe that in all that we have been doing in this class, we have worked with different projects. So I just want to take a case study of a project that we have done, and then we'll run it with this, and then we can now say that we have actually successfully worked with what? Portfolio building. All I just need you to do is there any area probably you are not getting clearly? Just pay attention, follow, and then of course you can do a rewatch of this video after now. It's still will be available for you to watch. Now, in your class documentation, I mentioned the other time that you have your markdown syntaxes, and look at this hashtag. You have this hashtag to actually create a case sentence. What do I mean? Like a topic or a sentence. Just like if I preview this now, you see what I have. I have little class documentation, and it's very bold, right? So say for instance now, here, and I have my hashtag, maybe two hashtag, and then let me have the same thing, liter underscore class, and then documentation, right? And then let me preview it. Did you notice any difference here? Do we notice any difference here? Let me see at the comment section. Like headings, exactly, your headings. So you can see the differences. So let me go back to my edit. Okay. This, I can add this here so that it just look like the same way. So let me add one more, 1, 2, 3. Then liter underscore class documentation. And then let me preview it again. Now, did you see what I'm saying here? Did you see what I'm saying? Exactly. Fonts, sizes. So you can do this in like 4 different places. So you can have your hashtags in 4 different places. So let me try the last one. And then let's have a liter underscore class documentation. All right, and then you preview. Now, did you see the difference between the 4 now? So this is the difference between the 4. So now, depending on the headings you want to have. Now, ordinarily, when you are working as an analyst, you must, of course, carve out a particular flow, headings that you want to discuss one after the other. If you have all those headings you want to discuss one after the other, then you begin to take it one after the other. So by the time we come back from our break, we will go deep into what's it called now? Editing of our document. And please, maybe I will take less time with questions so that we can rush, because we really need to do a lot with it. So please, before you come back, if you're having issue maybe from your break, make sure you sign your attendance. And then of course, if you have 1 or 2 persons who are supposed to be on this call and then they are not here yet, you might quickly go and help them on Telegram channel. Let's go to the class group and say the class is getting interesting because we are learning something new. Because everything you have been learning since the beginning of this class, you can only show for it with this particular area. So if you don't have this to show for it, that means you have not really learned well, or you have nothing to really show. So when we come back from our break, it will be a good time for us to continue with building our portfolio. Okay, if documentation is misspelled, please spell it correctly and then move on. You don't need to highlight that at the comment section. Thank you. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back from the break. Um, I hope we are ready to continue this class. Let me see if we are back. How many of us are back from the break? If you are back from the break, let me see at the comment section. So if you are saying you can't find a place to sign, just check the description of the course. You will see the link there where you can sign for your attendance. For the Tuesday class, you can go back and check the Tuesday lecture and then sign. All right, great. We are back and then stronger, right? Let's go. Okay, so when we stopped, we talked about headings for our documentation, right? And then we have been able to say different kind of headings that we can have. I mean, the sizes for different headings that we can have. Please, can we encourage people that we know that are not back to please join the class and then so that we can continue. All right. So let's continue because of our time. We still have quite a number of things to do tonight. So now we have explored the different types of or the different ways by which we can edit our headings, right? Now, what we want to do now is, and I told us before we go on break that anytime you have worked on any document or your README file, always commit changes. Please, always commit changes. Please, always commit changes. You haven't been getting any update from the Telegram channel. If you are a registered student, please send a mail so that that can be rectified, or reach out to the admin on the Telegram channel if you are a registered student. If you're a registered student and then you have not been getting any information. I saw someone also said I just stumbled on the class. So if you just stumbled on the class, just enjoy the class because it takes registration to fully be a part of this class. So for that person that just stumbled on the class, you might not be able to join the Telegram. You cannot even be able to join the Telegram group because it's strictly for people who are members of this class and then who have been following for the past 6 weeks. All right, let's continue. Right. So please don't forget to always commit changes anytime you are working on your document. All right. So now let's delete all of these things. We really don't need them. So for all the projects that we have done, all we just need to do is that we want to actually talk about them, right? And that is what we want to do, right? So let's say I have a project file that I have here that I have actually worked on. Don't mind me. This is my own project document, and then you might need to just have your own. So you really do not need. So the topic of my project is e-commerce sales analysis, right? E-commerce sales analysis, and then let me come here and then let me give it project. Let me just give it 3. Let's say 3. 1, 2, 3. Project title as a e-commerce sales analysis. Then I preview it. Now look at it. Later class documentation. So what documentation do I want to work on? I want to work on what? E-commerce sales analysis. You can delete a repository. Did I not talk about how you can delete a repository the other time? Okay, let me quickly do that. I think I skipped that part. Let me quickly do that. Now, just a moment. Now, look at this. Can you see your settings here? I think this is one part you need to pay careful attention to. You see these settings, we'll come back and continue over. Just click on your settings. Okay, saying that before I need to commit changes. You see what I'm saying now? Now commit changes. So I've just done that now. Commit changes means typically save your document. If you cannot hear anything, probably your network is bad. Right? If you cannot hear anything, probably your network is bad. Must we always put hashtags? Yes, you must put hashtags, except it's not an heading. If it's not an heading, you really do not need to put an hashtag. So when you come to your settings here, please pay attention to this place. If probably after you have or we are done with this class and then you just realize that you want to change or rename your repository name, You don't want no longer use a later class documentation. You want to give it a new name. So just come here, click the new name you want to give it, and then click rename. Does that make sense? Then click rename. So once you have done that, then you are able to change it, and then you can download the template of what you are work with, like that, like that. Now, let me show us something that is very, very important here. As much as all that you are doing when you are working with your request, yeah, these are all the settings you can explore at a later time. But this is what, or one part that is very, very important that you cannot joke with. This danger zone. Now, look at this danger zone. Here in the danger zone, a few things you can do here is number one, you remember when you are setting up your or you are creating your repository, it's asking you whether you want to have a private or public repository. Your visibility, you can change your visibility here such that if you started by creating a public repository and then you want to change that public repository to a private repository, all you just need to do is what? Change your visibility. So once you click on your change your visibility, you can change from what? Public to private, and then you can change from private to public. So the other time I was mentioning that probably when you are starting the project, you don't want anybody to see it. So you make it a private project, right? And then when you are done with the documentation, you now come here and say, now it's time for people to have access to view it. So you just come here, change your visibility, and then people can now have access to it. Now, archive repository. Now, you can archive repository when you just want to make repository only read only. You cannot do anything to it. You can just be reading through it. You can archive it. It will just be there. You can't edit. You can't delete. You can't do it. It will just be read only file. That's to archive your repository. And the last one is this. Someone asked the question, is why I remember I've not talked about it. Can you delete your repository? Yes, you can. Once you come here, delete this repository. So it will ask you for a question, and if you are able to answer that question, so that means you are good to delete your repository. So please be careful when you want to delete a repository. Be sure that once you delete a repository, you don't have need of that repository again. Just a moment, please. All right. So that means you can what? Delete this repository, and once you delete, there's no going back. The file is gone and it's gone completely. Just say amen to your file once it is gone. Now let's come back to where we are coming from, and let's come back to our code section. This is where we are working from, our code section. So I come back to our code section, and then we are back to our what? Where we're working from. Now, I title my project as what? Project as e-commerce sales analysis. Now, what does my project talk about? What my project is talking about, don't worry about your this thing. Everybody have what your project is talking about. I am just doing this as a template of what I have worked on, and that is why I am just pulling this down, and then I am just writing it out. Now, this is my project topic, project overview. Now, project overview, that's my project. What's my project overview? That's like more like an introduction about the project, right? Then I copy what I have here. You need to go and do your own. You can just impute anything. You can just impute anything, at least for now. At least for now, you can just impute anything. This is just my own working document that I've prepared, at least alongside. So once you preview it, look at the way it looks like. Can you see that? Can you see that? So this is what project overview. Project title is what? E-commerce sales analysis. Then the project overview, that this data analysis project aims to generate insight into the sales performance of the e-commerce project over the past year. By analyzing the various parameters in the data received, we seek to gather enough insight to make reasonable decisions, which then enable us to tell compelling stories around our data from the insight gotten. All right. So that is what? Your project overview. And once you are done, anytime you are done typing a particular part of your project, all you need to do is just push enter. And if you want to create a space, between the last type and next type, just add another enter to it. Automatically add a space. I hope that makes sense. It automatically add what? A space. So once you, like now, that 7 is a space for me. And then you can, I have said it, if you want to change your username, you can change your username at the point where you want to what? The settings where you want to rename your repository, you can change your username as well. On your settings, I mean, settings, you can change your username. Now, after project overview, what we have is what? Our data sources. Please, guys, pay attention. Now, for our data sources, since what we have our same, our heading must be aligned. You know, we have 3 hashtags for our project overview. The same thing must work for our what? Data sources, right? Data. All right. So this is our data sources. Let me. Now, this is our data sources, right? So under our data sources, what do we want to have under data sources? Now, let me see what I have here. Control C, and then let me push it in here. Control V. So it says that the primary source of data used. Why the 3 hashtag? Joy Lucy. I guess you are just joining this class. I am too fast. Okay. Must you put hashtag? I said the other time that you must understand the concept of the hashtag. The hashtag is showing that you are actually creating a heading for a particular section. Your hashtag is telling us that you want to have a new heading, and the size of the hashtag will tell the size of that heading. Say for instance, if you have 2 hashtags here, and then I refresh this now, you will see the difference. Look at what we have. See project overview. See the size of data source. Can you see that one is bigger than the other? Can you see that this data source is bigger than this? And there's no consistency in that. There's no consistency in that. So that is why we must have the same size of what? Heading. So let me edit this again and come under here and then make it 3 hashtags. So that's, and the hashtag is not actually coming out. If you see it in your preview, did you see any hashtag? No. So the hashtag is just there as a guide for your heading. What if you have many repositories? Will it also bring the option of choosing which repository visible you want to change? Of course, I mentioned that. While you are creating each repository, is also asking you if you want to make it private or public. I have mentioned that. So as you are creating the repository, you can also tell that this repository should be made visible, that's public, or you want to make it private. Can you remove a repository from archive? Of course you can. Just check when you delete your repository, you have deleted it, that's all. So either it's in archive or not. So please follow carefully because there's still quite a number of things we need to do here. So now let's go back. So what I'm doing is at every progress I am making, I am previewing my work. And that is why I am showing us step by step, because if this does not work from your preview, you will not have to save. Now that it has worked the way I wanted it, I can now commit changes. Always endeavor to commit changes. Always endeavor to commit changes. Always endeavor. So now we have done this. Let's go and edit our code. Now to edit your code, you see this pencil file here. Click it and then you are back at the editing part of your code. Let's move to the next. So the next thing I want to talk about is what are the tools that we have used? Let me ask at the comment section, what are the tools that we have used in this class? What are the tools that we have used in this class? What are the tools that we have used in this class? SQL, MS Excel, and SQL. All right, good. Microsoft. So I was expecting that Microsoft Excel for data analysis, and for data, or let's just say for data cleaning and analysis. For data cleaning, for data cleaning, analysis, and visualization, right? The next one is what? SQL, that is what? Structured query language. And then let's say now that we are using GitHub for structured query language for querying of data, right? Then now we are using what? GitHub for portfolio building. And all of that, as much as you have different tools that you are working with, so you can have them in all of that list. Now let's see what happens if we preview this that we have just done. Let's see what happens. Did you see what happens here? Did you notice that everything is just in one word? There is no indentation, nothing to show. It just populated everything. Say Microsoft Excel for data cleaning, analysis, and visualization. SQL structured query language for querying of data, GitHub, and you see that. So what do we need to do? We really need to indent our work for querying, QUER. We need to what? Indent our work. How do you do that? Just put your hyphen here and then put your space, your hyphen here, your hyphen here, and then you put your space. So let's go check it again now. Does it make any difference now? What did you have here? You have a bullet point. Is it making sense? Can you see that now? So that means this is how best you can actually talk about your documentation. It's making sense. Amazing. Are we enjoying tonight's class? Yes, bullet point is making sense. So if you don't want bullet points, you can actually talk about something like this as well. Let's say, let me edit my code. Let's say under here, I have something like bullets in bullets now, or maybe I now want to have one. Let's say, for instance, Microsoft Excel. Under Microsoft Excel, I now say, let me just edit this. Control X. I bring this one here. Control V. For data cleaning. Then 2. For analysis, right? And then I now say 3 for what? For visualization, for data visualization. Now, are you guys following me? Are you guys still following me? Now, did you see what I did? What I did here is that we now said the tool used is Microsoft Excel. Then under Microsoft Excel, what we have is what? For data cleaning. Microsoft Excel is for data cleaning, for analysis, and for data visualization. So let's go and check and let's see whether it's going to make any sense. Now, what did you see here now? What did you see here? Did you see what it looks like now? Now, so this is a proper way to indent your documentation because you want your you want the recruiters or your employer to see that you really, really understand what you are talking about, and of course, what you are doing. Because if they don't understand what you are doing, or if they don't understand what you are talking about, it will be difficult for them, or if it will be even difficult for them to spotlight you. All right. Mary Olanike, just walk as we are working in this class. Stop jumping. Is it possible for us to upload documents on GitHub? You're already jumping. Just learn to work properly and then you will see whether when the time comes, you won't be able to jump. All right. So just take it a step at a time. All right. So now we've been able to say this. Let's also say that what you now want to also talk about is why you are making your viewers see this. You also want them to, in case they need access to this Microsoft Excel that you are using, you now want them to actually be able to download it as well. You can actually make it available for them to download. How do you do that? Now, listen, this is the syntax. Now you create a square bracket, two square brackets here. Inside the square bracket, put the reference where you want to have it download here, right? Download here, and then you create a bracket. I'll take, just watch. Then you now put what? The address, https:// www.microsoft.com. Then you close your bracket. Since Microsoft Excel is owned by what? Microsoft.com, right? And then let's go and see whether we are able to achieve anything with that. Did you see what we have here? Guys, did you notice what we have here? Download here. Let me take it again. Let me take it again. Let me take it again. Okay, how was I able to separate the statement into different lines? So did you mean the indentations? Did you mean the indentations? If you are talking about the indentations, just make sure that anytime you want to separate a particular line from the next line, create a space that is an enter. Just press enter key and then move to the next enter key, and then you have successfully created the line. But if you are talking about these bullet points, all you need to do to create your bullet points is a dash before the text. Just create that your hyphen now, that's the dash before the point, and then if you click on this link now, let's see where this leads us to. Now, it's saying that I cannot go to anywhere until I have commit changes. So let me commit my changes. Let me commit my changes. Now I've done that. So let me go back here, and then let's click this link and let's see where it takes us to. Now, where did you see that we are now? We are on Microsoft website. Did you see that? Did you see that? This is so interesting. I like that. It looks like magic. Yes. So that means if you have, all you just need to do is go and copy the URL address of that address you want to reference, and then come and put it on your work. Let me back so that I'll go back to where we are working from. Now you have been able to see, just like I promised, that I will do this again. So let me take it one more time and then you can move on. So let's say this is not here. For the sake of people that are watching again, so let's come back, and I say Microsoft Excel, and you want people to have access to download here. Type the word you want to use with it, then close this bracket, create your bracket, and then put your domain address. So you might need to just go and copy the address from wherever you have it, but since I have it in my HTTPS colon www.microsoft.com. Then you close your bracket, and then you can now do what? Preview it. Then you have your Microsoft Excel download here. Then you have your for cleaning, and then you can put also your codes as well for the other ones. Now we have done tools used. So let's move to the next thing. The next thing we want to talk about is what? Data cleaning and preparation. How do we do our data cleaning and how do we prepare our data? All our data cleaning and our data preparation. Now I said the other time that if you are done with a particular place, clear it out and then push another tab so that it will create a gap between it, right? How many of us are learning and getting value here tonight? If you are getting value here, let me see at the comment section. Interesting, I like that. Very interesting, I like that. Great. Following, good. So the next thing we want to do is what? Data cleaning. So since we have our, I thought most of Excel file we work on are always our desktop and not online. So Excel on desktop. What do you mean by online? Microsoft site is where you can download Microsoft Office. That is the Microsoft site that I did the other time. Microsoft Office is because you have it installed on your system. For someone that does not have it installed, you have to still go to the site to get it installed. All right. How can we finish this section tonight? We really need to finish this section actually. So I have to be a bit fast now. So now the next one we want to do is what? We want to do data cleaning, and preparations. All right. So for data cleaning and preparations, let me bring my documentation from where I kept it. You can also do yours for yourself. So since you understand what this naming convention looks like now, just come here, paste it, just like the initial whatever. Here I have what? 1. Here I have what? 2. Then I have what? 3. So this is talking about what? The initial phase of data cleaning and preparation, we perform the following: data loading and inspection. You remember you did that while you're working with Excel, right? Same thing with SQL. Handling missing variables. You remember you did that, all of that. This is how to tell a story about what you have done yourself. I know some of us will be like, I can't even, that's true, I did this. You must have forgotten. That means you're not paying attention. So all of these things, you need to pay attention, great value and learning a lot. I like that. Then the third one is what? Data cleaning and formatting. You remember you did that when you are formatting your cells and all of that. So when you bring all of this together is how to what? To populate your portfolio. Can you see that now? So data cleaning and preparations, we have 1, 2, 3. So let's quickly move to the next one. I want us to just have one single class so that from next week, we will be starting the usage of a new tool actually. And that is Power BI, Microsoft Power BI. Yes, that is what we're going to be starting with from next class. All right, so the next one is what? After data cleaning, we can do what? Our exploratory data analysis. Exploratory. I'm sure some of these things are not strange to you guys again. You must have had all of this in all the classes that we have learned, right? I am sure all of these things we are seeing here, they are not strange, right? Yes or yes, they are not strange, right? So let's come here. I'm just being a bit fast now so that we can be able to finish all of this. Then you put your hyphen again, since we want to make it a bullet point. All right, so EDA involves exploring the data to answer some questions about the data, such as what is the overall sales trend, which product are top sellers, and what are the products on peak sales. All right, so once you have done that, just come over and over again, preview, and then you keep seeing your work showing. Did you see this again? All right, now I think I should just do something very quickly because of my time now. What I need us to now do is this. If after we have done this, Somebody asked the other time. Amen. God bless you too. Thank you so much for that prayer. Now, somebody now said that, okay, but then I also have visualizations that I have not been able to capture in my work. How do I bring my visualization into my work, what I'm doing? Now, there are two ways by which you can actually do that. I get what I'm saying. There are two ways by which you can actually do that. And I will take that very quickly before we start. Or okay, before we get there, before we get to that one, let's do something. Let's do one more so that I can show us something. Let's do one more data analysis. Under our exploratory data analysis, we have talked about the data used. So let's edit it one more time, and then let's go to data analysis so that I can show us something. Data analysis. And here now, in your data analysis, what do you want to talk about? You actually want to talk about the code that you use. Do you understand? This is where what you want to talk about the code. Say, for instance, when you were working with Excel, you remember there are several functions you were working with, right? You were working with so many functions. But here, so when you were working with what's it called, SQL, there were some other functions you're also calling, right? So here you want to show us the expressions that you use, the function that you use. How do you create a function, or how do you make it look like a code exactly? Take, for instance, I want to probably pick some lines of code with our SQL. Some lines of code with our SQL. You remember when you want to query a data, the first thing you do let me see at the comment section, what was the first thing that you're going to put up from your table? What will be the first thing? I'm waiting at the comment section. I'm waiting. Select, thank you. That's Esther. Select. Yes, exactly. That's your select statement, right? So now, but before you start typing that, if you need to make it look exactly like a code format, if you want to make it look like a code format, you must put this particular character. Look at this character. This character that I've just used is just before your figure 1 on your keyboard. I don't know what kind of keyboard preference you have. All right, but then just before 1, you will see something that looks like a back of a, is it apostrophe now? I don't know. I really don't know those signs now, those symbols. So, but then it's facing the other way, it's facing left. And then you put it 3 times, just 3 times, actually, just 3 times. And then you put the kind of command you want. Is it SQL? Structure query language. That's what you want to do. Then you go to the next, and then you put your what? Your statement. Then you say select. You remember now? Select wildcard now. How many of us still remember wildcard? Select from table 1, right? Where, what condition now? Let's just say condition equals true. Does that make sense? Let's assume this is our statement, right? And then you come down here and then you close it again. Did you see that? You open it and then you close it. And what do? Let's preview this. Guys, does it look like magic? Does it look like magic? Let me see at the comment section. Can you see now that this is what? A typical line of code. A typical line of code. And this code, you can actually copy it. If you come to this front here, can you see the way it is? You can actually copy the code here. And then once you copy the code, you can move it anywhere. So you can bring down your function. You remember there is a function that you can use to get your functions. I mean, there's a text. That's what is it called now? Format. Is it format text or text format or something where you can use to get your at your formula bar? Now, I think a text function or something. I can't remember vividly now. So it's a black magic. Well, all the best to you. So if you bring those formulas here and then you put it here, you will see it the exact way you want it to look like. Okay, let me show you something that makes it look more interesting. If you also want to make each of these, after under your project overview, each of these headlines now, you want it to look very interesting and then distinct from other parts. You can come here as well. When you press enter, you can just put 1, 2, 3. You see these three dash, and then you preview it. What does it look like? Can you see the way it looks like? These are ways by which you are formatting your what? You are formatting your project, right? So let's go to the other one. Of course, you can learn about syntax. You can learn about syntax. In this class, we cannot teach all of the syntax at all. We cannot teach all of the syntax. So you can learn about syntax and see what so many syntax. For instance, now, the bold syntax, when you put 2 stars in front, you put your character in between, you put 2 stars at the back. That's bold syntax. The italic syntax is 1 star, your character, and then the, what's it called now? The 1 star at the end. So all of this is what you can actually do, practice by yourself. I like that. I'm getting value. I like that. Amazing. Okay, so now we have done this for the analysis, and what next can we do here is recommendations. Now, but before we go to our recommendation, there's something we need to do. And what do we need to do? Somebody talked about pictures the other time. Do we want to bring pictures, like maybe you have screenshot some pictures of your visualization where you are working from the other time, and then you want to show it? So now, how do you do that? For you to do that, the first thing you need to do, please pay attention now. The first thing you need to do is you must first commit your changes, so that we have not been saving everything you have been doing. So commit changes so that your last edit will have been updated. Commit changes, and then once you have commit changes, if you now need to add that, you see your what's it called now? Your repository name. Come and click on your repository name here again. Once you click on it, it takes you back home. Yes, can you see now? It takes us back home to where we started from. This is where we started from, right? So here now, you see go to file, and you see another plus here. Can you see this plus here? If you click on this plus, it will ask you 2 major things: create new file or upload files. So what do you want to do? Before you upload any file, that means you must have probably screenshotted it, maybe from whatever area. Maybe when you are working on your SQL, on your PostgreSQL, or whatever studio you are using, you have screenshotted that result somewhere in your download file or something. Sorry about that. So you have screenshotted it, and then you are able to just say, okay, how do I put this up now? That is what we want to see now. So you come to this place, then upload files. When you click on upload files, it asks you 2 questions that you can do here. Is a drag files here to add them to your repository. So you can drag the file here if you have the file open somewhere, like in a folder. If you don't, you can choose your file. Choose your file, ask me to open from where I have here. So this takes me directly to which file I have opened down. Then I can click on this bar chart, and then I open it. Now it's saying what? Uploading. Can you see that? So it has uploaded, since it's a what? It's a small file. All right. So add an optional extended description. Add an external extended. So this is what? This is a, sorry. This is a bar chart. I hope you guys are following. I hope you guys are still following me. So this is a bar chart, right? So then you do what? You commit changes. You commit changes. Can you see that now? Now, if you look at this place, can you see? Can you see that my bar chart has been uploaded here? My bar chart has been uploaded here. So since my bar chart has been uploaded here, it shows that my work is done. Did you understand? So that means all I just need to do is I need to now come and pull it out here where I need to see it. Exploratory data analysis. Okay, let me create one more column here, and let me put data visualization. My README file. Under my README file, let's have one more, and that is a what? Data visualizations. All right. So under data visualization is where I now want to put all those images one after the other. Are you getting me? So if this is where I want to put all those images one after the other, now that I have it here, I can as well go to my folder where it is. Let me see. I can just click and drag it here. Was it the part? Click and drag it here. Can you see the way I just click and drag it on that data visualization? Did you see the way I click and drag? All right. From your folder, don't forget, from your folder, and then come here and preview your work. What did you see here? Under data visualization, did you see something? Let me reduce this. Can you see it now? Yes, I'm zooming out already. I've done that already. I hope it makes sense now. Don't worry, don't worry. If you think you don't understand this, all you just need to do is just check the video again. You will get it. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. Yes, that's the bar chart I uploaded. All right. Can I add more charts to this place? Yes, I can. All I just need to do is let me commit changes and let me add all my charts because please, I need to be I just because I need to finish to wrap up this. Of course, we might not finish this, but then just one class we want to do all of this portfolio building and then we are done. So that from next week, the assignment we have now is that what we have learned in Excel, we are able to put them in a particular project and then we start populating our portfolio. So I want to add more files. Choose. I want to add images. Open. Yes, it has uploaded. Commit changes. I want to add one more so that I can have the three at once because of my time. Choose your file from wherever you have it stored on your computer. It will definitely be somewhere. Do you understand? How it was dragged, create the folder where you are, maybe it is in download or somewhere. Just open the folder side by side with your what's it called now? Your working document, and then click it and drag it to the document. That's all I did. That's all I did. Can you see all my charts here? Can you see all my charts here? Can you see all my charts? So this is all my chart here. So let me preview this. Okay. It's still loading, it's still loading, it's still loading. I'm actually watching my time. So for those of us that are saying that, how do I drag? How you drag is just simple. I don't think that is really, really serious. Because I see two more things I need to show us before we close, except you don't want me to touch it. Except you don't. Has anybody been able to do that? So let me edit. So let me drag again. Don't mind me. If you are not seeing, because I am not extending all of my screen, that is why you are not seeing. So I have dragged and dropped another chart. Let me drag and drop the last one so that the three, we can preview them together. All right. So, all right. So let's go check. Let's go preview. Can you see that now? So now I have been able to bring out all my, someone that was asking the other time. I was dragging from the folder where the picture or the image is. I drag from the picture where the image is, and I drag it and drop it on my code section, on my README file. That's the only thing I did. And then you just go up and preview it. That's just it. You just go up and do what? And preview it. Does that make sense now? Has anybody been able to? Okay, thank you. I like that. Ibrahim Favor. Thank you. Okay, you're paying attention. Good. So one or two more things before we call it a day tonight. So let me show you something. For people who like to be artistic while they are working on a project, for people who like to be artistic, you can also do some sort of oh my god, there's still something. I hope you don't mind, we still take a little more time here. There's still one or two things that I think we need to do. I just remembered now. Okay. So now, in case you want to be artistic with your designs, maybe emoji while you are typing, you want to do that. You know your full column. When you put your full column, just type any simile you want, maybe laugh simile or something, or first price medal. You see that? So just press your column, your full column. By the time you press your full column, you will have something like that. Another one you can do maybe like something like you want to see computer. All these ones are side attractions anyways. All these things I'm doing now, these ones are side attractions. It's just in case you want to do. And so if you preview it, you will see them come up like this. Can you see? Can you see now? So all this one, in case you need to bring up any emoji while you are working on your project. So that's how to achieve that. So another thing you can also do for this, if you want this one to also be separated, you can just put a space in between them, and then this will be fine. Now, one more thing, then I go to the last thing. I have two more things to show us. So one more thing we want to do is, for somebody who now want to also talk about can I also create a table myself? How is it possible for me to create a table myself? Interesting. You can actually create a table yourself. And I will show us quickly how you can create a table. So when you want to create a table, how do you do that as well? So now there's what we call a pipeline, a pipe sign, a pipe symbol. Pipe symbol is just right in front of your shift before Z. You have a pipe shift. If you have that pipe sheet, you have something like this. Then you have two pipe sheets. You can have, like, let's say two, depending on the number of rows and columns that you want to make. Actually, let's take for instance, you want to have heading one, heading one, then you have pipe here. You want to have heading two, you have another pipe. You want to have heading three, and then you have another pipe. Please just, okay, let me zoom in. Can you see now? So I have what? Pipe symbol. This is pipe symbol. In between the type symbol, I have what? Heading one, heading two, heading three, depending on the number of character that you have. Then you have another pipe again. Then in between that pipe, you have a what? A dash. That's your hyphen. To close that same heading, you see the way it's consistent. Then another what? Hyphen. Then you close it again. Another hyphen. then you close it again. Then here, you can now come here, create a pipe. What do you want to have for your heading? Let's say table 1. Then you close it. Next one is table 2. You close it again. The next one is table 3. And then you close it again. So let's go preview what we have now. Yes, that's your pipe sign. Let's go preview what we have now and let's see if it makes sense at all. See what we have here. Can you see what we have here? So to get the pipe is just in front of your your Z character. That's shift that character that is before Z. That is magic. It's not magic actually. It's not magic. Just see how it looks. So guys, I would advise you watch this over and over and over and over and again. Now that's how you can actually say you have understood this. The last thing we want to do before we end this class, I know it's past 9. Please just this last thing, and I need us to actually get it because it will help us. If you notice, you see, for me to actually get to any part of what we are doing, we have to scroll, right? If I don't want to scroll, what can I actually do? You know, I can actually create my outline. I can actually create my outline. How do I create my outline? Let's say immediately after my project title here, let me edit. Immediately after my project title, that's e-commerce, I want to create an outline. So what will my outline have? My outline will have what? Project overview, right? Project overview. What else do I have? Data sources, right? Let me create a list of all my headings. Then tools used, Control C. Please pay attention to this last part. This is very important. Then data cleaning and preparations, Control C. Go back here. I know the class is over. Just a moment, we'll round off shortly. I know the class is over. Please, just a moment and then we'll be done, please. All right. So now, very quickly, let me just do this one and then you guys will go and practice the remaining one. All you just need to do is here, when you come here, create your square bracket in front of each of the sentence of your title now, and right in front of it, create your curly bracket. Now, your square bracket is the first one, and immediately after that character, the same character that as you have typed it, that is why I had to go and copy and paste it. Don't make mistake. But now, you must make all lowercase. All what? Lowercase. So let me type it, project. Now, the space in between is represented by an hyphen. The space in between is represented by an hyphen. Sorry, before you put your project, I forgot something. Your hash must be inclusive. Hash. Please don't forget hash. Then you now put your what? That space, then you now put overview. Make sure it's the same way it was typed. It was typed, VIEW. Then you close your bracket. You have done that. Let me look for, okay, so now let's preview this. Look at the way it looks. Okay, let me just do something so that everything can look okay, did you see now? So if I click on this project overview now, okay, let me commit changes. Make sure you have committed changes. Commit your changes so that all your changes will be included. So when you click on project overview, did you see where it takes us to? When you click on project overview, it immediately takes you to where your, so in case you want to view something that is last year, like this data analysis, let me quickly do for data analysis so that we can wrap up this class. I had to rush this now. Sorry, my technical support and the teaching assistant. I am so sorry about that. Data analysis, right? So for data analysis now, we want to do the same thing for you. So we have our bracket. We have what? Oh, sorry. From here, we have our bracket, square bracket, then close this, then open this parenthesis, your hash, then data hyphen analysis, right? Then you close this. Then commit your changes, and then let's see if we click on this data preview analysis. Did you see where it take us to immediately? It take us to our data analysis. Yes, so this is what you use to jump your headings. And on this note, we have been able to come to a reasonable length of this class. All right. So if you have been able to do this successfully, just make sure you commit your changes anytime you are working. And immediately you are done, once you copy this part, if you copy this part and then you share it with anybody, either on WhatsApp or whatever, or you go to your profile, you copy, you can always share that as your project. I think it's been a very wonderful time. They're already showing me thank you. So let me say thank you. I hope you enjoyed tonight's class. Have a wonderful evening, as the case may be.